Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Welcome back. Settle down. Settle down, everyone. It's just episode 4. Listen. I love Courtney Kemp. I do. I know you can't tell it by my reviews, but I do like Courtney Kemp, right? I wish her all the best at Netflix. But I do want to perpetually windmill her. Listen, we all could use a good windmilling, and Courtney is no different from the rest of us, right? I wouldn't mind windmilling her. What are we doing here, Courtney? What are we doing here, right? Let's get into it. You guys already know this is Power Book 4, Force Season 1, Episode 4, Storm Clouds, okay? And given the previews from last week, I don't know, I was expecting things to be a little bit more eventful, but it wasn't giving. Still not a bad episode. I'm just, I don't know what I'm waiting for. I'll know it when I see it. Let me just say that. Without further ado, doing a little, I'll say a different format, but you guys are familiar with it, where we go character by character or pairs of character by pairs of character. So we're going to be talking about Tommy and Liliana in this review, Diamond and Jannard, and that whole dynamic in this episode. We're going to be talking about the Flynns, Vic, Claudia, Walter, and Uncle Paulie, right? We're also going to be throwing in a little bit of conversation about JP, Tommy's brother, half brother, and we finally get to meet the dad in this episode. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. I want to talk just a little bit about JP, Tommy's half brother, and his father. We get to meet him in this episode, and he's a surly character. He is very cautious about Tommy. So the conversation is a little bit tenuous, right? He's giving Tommy what for. Tommy's kind of used to it, especially being Kate's son. They all collectively agree that Kate is, she ain't ish. JP, not so much. His dad did a lot to show him a lot of love. But his father continues to remind us how much JP missed his mom and how he longed for her as a child, and still to this day as a grown arse man, still there's this emptiness there, right? It's so weird because he knows that she's in New York, and even though everyone is telling him what a jerk Kate is, it's like he just accepts it. He accepts that she's a jerk, and he doesn't need to reach out to her, talk to her, reconcile with her in any way. He's accepting that she's a jerk and moving on. Likewise, we see where JP comes face to face with his son, who is a young man, 16 years of age, by the name of D-Mac is his street name. We don't know his government name, but D-Mac is his street name. And he's a part, semicolon, of the, he's a part of the CBIs, semicolon, the gang, right? And, it's just out of nowhere in the middle of the day, he and a partner of his have decided they're going to shoot up JP's club once again, and JP spots them out of the window, comes outside with a baseball bat, and they've got guns, and he threatens to bust their heads open, right? And one guy was like, I'm gonna shoot him and kill him, and then D-Mac, JP's son, thwarts the guy from shooting his dad and killing his dad, and then he just stands there frozen, and JP looks at him. He doesn't even know him, right? He's just like, you better get out of here, you piece of crap. I'll bust your head open to the white meat. And D-Mac is just frozen there, and then he wants to say something, doesn't have the wherewithal, turns and he runs off. And JP is standing there looking like punks, right? JP's son is doing more to reach out to JP than JP is doing to reach out to Kate. You get what I'm saying? JP's son lives right there in the city with him, right? JP's is not even reaching out to his ex's, D-Mac's mama D-Mac's, cousin's, uncle's, sister's friend, right? He's saying, I just completely lost touch with my son. Some people saying he said when he went out of jail. I understood him to say when he came out, she took D-Mac and left and wouldn't let him have anything to do with D-Mac. And maybe he was incarcerated. I don't remember. But now that you're out of jail and you're having these own feelings about your own mom and all of these come to Jesus moments, you know, in your life where you're meeting a half brother, your dad is straddling, you know, between this life and the next, right? And you've come to find your long lost brother. You can't go to the old neighborhood and talk to the lady across the street from the cousin of the aunt of the sister of the friend of your ex and find out where they could possibly be living in the city. You haven't done even the slightest bit of investigation to look for your son. Your son has to come by your business and bust the windows out every 2-3 days in order for you to connect. Like, what is really happening? What is really happening? And so the JP situation and the daddy situation is officially under the scenes we didn't need, right? We don't need it, period. I said what I said. I stand by that. We don't need these scenes at all. We don't need them every episode at all. Right? We could do this JP and dad thing. We could do this twice this season and I'm gravy. I'm good. I'm good. Right? Good. Okay, maybe 3. All right, so there's that. We get to see let's talk about the Flynns. Because we're going to do Diamond and Jannard and Tommy and Liliana last. So let's go ahead and jump into the Flynns. Also, okay, yeah. Anyway, let's jump into the Flynns. All right. So let's talk about Paulie. We see Paulie going to take some clothes and a little bit of food from his home country, I guess, Poland. His wife has made a dish. He's under a bridge and there's tents. And I'm like, where is Paulie going? Paulie's got a son. And his son, Andre, I believe the son's name is on drugs real bad. He's strung out real bad, you know. And he walks up and his son is like, did you bring money? He throws the bag on the ground. He's like, I brought you clothes and I brought you a little pacata, right? That your mom worked all night making. I was like, what's pacata? She got to be up all night. But I digress. He was like, I need money, man. I need money. He was like, I'm not giving you no money until you go to rehab. Man, I'm sick. I'm sick, Daddy. You don't want me to be sick. Goes in his wallet, gives him money, walks off. It's a terrible position to be in, right? Especially since you work for a guy that deals drugs. Now, Maybe this is one of the reasons why he's not pushing Walter to get Walter Flynn to get into the coke game, or into these other types of drugs, because his own son is strung out in the game, right? But pills are just as addictive. A narcotic is a narcotic, an opioid is an opioid, right? Like it's right there. Only thing we can take out of the drug game, in my opinion, is marijuana, right? Because it is the only, no one's busting windows open, you know what I'm saying, to get dime bags, right? Like no one's doing that, no one's carting their grandmother's stereo and TV and refrigerator outside to sell it for weed, right? It's these opioids, it's these narcotics, right? So that's the Paulie situation. Walter has completely lost control, right? He's oblivious to it. He's oblivious to the fact that he has completely lost all control in his organization. First of all, he never walked hard at all. We had episode 1 where Paulie, who seemed a lot more pulled together, a lot more cool, calm, and collected, kind of give Tommy this ominous warning about, trust me, you don't want to stick around. Trust me, you don't want to deal with these people. Trust me, you don't want to rub these people the wrong way. And we've seen absolutely nothing from Walter Flynn that gives us this impression that he is a formidable foe, that he is someone to send you cowering, hiding under your bed, scared of the Walter Flynn boogeyman. Where? How, Sway? I mean, we are 4 episodes in and Tommy has zero respect for anything that Walter has to say. Anything at all. He's snubbing him at every hand. Tommy is super, super, super unimpressed with all of the Flynns, with the exception of Claudia. We see where Walter has yet to show any amount of strength. There's been no show of force from the Flynn clan at all. He gets major pushback from Vic in this episode. As a matter of fact, Vic goes pretty hard in telling his dad, you don't tell me what to do. I do what I want to do. You're not in control of me. I'm in control of me. I'm running me now, right? When Walter learns that, he goes behind his back and is in bed with Diamond and Tommy dealing with the Yardies. Okay, but we're going to talk about that. Vic was like, I don't give a goddamn what you say. What you going to do? What you going to do, old man? You're sick and you're tired and you're through. Okay? We see where Claudia is out of sight, out of mind as it pertains to her father, Walter. He doesn't see her and he doesn't suspect her of anything at all. Okay? And like I said, Tommy is not impressed at all about anything. Walter rolls up on him continuously and demands Tommy's an audience of Tommy, and Tommy snubs him every time. He's unimpressed. We see where Vic does go to meet with Diamond and Tommy to make the deal that Walter should have made last episode, his dad. And it's a nice idea, really, what they want to do, but stuff goes south really quickly when dealing with the Yardies, right? And we see where after this whole situation with the Yardies takes place, we see where Vic comes clean with Tommy and tells Tommy he knows that he is bumping uglies with Gloria. I know you're bumping Gloria, but I'm going to get her back. And Tommy was like, we're going to have a problem. He was like, nah, we're going to do this business, but I'm getting my girl back. I was like, but she's going to have Tommy's stink all over her. So, Victor, it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's odd. It's odd and it's a little cuckoldish, don't you think? A little cuckoldish, little bit. Y'all tell me what you think. Put it down below. We see where it's such an awkward moment, and I feel like he kind of is coming into his own. Vic is kind of coming into his own, with the exception of this whole glorious situation. We see where he has this come to Jesus moment with Begin Again, Seamus Begin Again, and he sons him and low key threatens him. By this point, he has been interning with Tommy on several ventures. He's Tommy's unofficial apprentice, official, unofficial apprentice at this point. It's like the more he's with Tommy, the stronger he gets, the stronger his backbone gets, right? Except as it pertains to Gloria, okay? And so we see where his sons Begin Again, and low-key threatens him after he realizes that he's not keeping him in the loop with everything that they're doing on the street, how they're moving. And it's potentially about to get Vic and his new partners caught up. So he's showing some bit of strength. We see later where Tommy has an opportunity to meet up with a group that's trying to not just kill him, but take the coke and also harm Liliana. And we see where Vic has the opportunity as the intern, as Tommy's apprentice in the drug game, to pull the trigger and prove himself on Tommy's behalf, right? And he does a great job of it. Claudia, listen, is the star of the episode, and in my opinion, the star of the season. She has been out wheeling and dealing the boys this entire episode. They've got their little shenanigans going on, and meanwhile she's over here swiftly and professionally handling the drug game single-handedly. She is not only building a crew, but she's locking down the supply chain and distribution. Claudia, I'm telling you, is the one to watch. And I would love to see where these episodes, even though 50 Cent is behind it all, ultimately Courtney Kemp is the female shoulder behind the wheel. I want to see some female bosses up in here. I want to see some queen pins. I want to see some real Queen of the South show of female force. Not even just with Claudia, but with Monet. We saw a lot of it with Rocky from Raising Kanan. I'd like to see that trend go all the way through. I want to see the ladies just raise up as true queen pins. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't it be awesome? Right? So like I said, she's not only building a crew, but she's locking down a supply chain. And she's got distribution going on. She's focused, but she may be focused way too much, because in this episode we see where Tommy puts Liliana in charge of following Claudia and seeing what she has going on. She's wheeling and dealing, but she, like I said, she's so focused, she doesn't really notice that she's being followed or tailed in any kind of way. And that's going to be a problem, especially dealing with men, because a lot of times you find that men will roll up on a woman, right? And if you don't stay ready, right? If you don't stay ready, they'll roll up on you or have somebody else roll up on you and snuff you like that. Like, she's got to get her head in the game in a more defensive way as well, not just focusing on the business. But shout out to Claudia. shout out to Claudia. She doing her darn thing, right? She goes to the Hispanics, the Latinos, right? Gives them a little toot toot bump bump. They give her a suitcase full of money, right? She talks to her old girl, the Asian girl she's sleeping with, figures out that she's not the chemist because all the product that she has is, just this little bit. And Claudia's not like it. This is a pretty strong drug, but this isn't enough. Like the distribution system that I'm building up, we need more capacity. You know what I'm saying? We need more product in order to handle capacity. She wants to meet the chemist. The chemist is another bad mama jamma, a sister, right? We didn't need all that unnecessary conversation about legal documents and signed your name and FDA. We didn't need all that. We didn't need all that. But that was supposed to push this chemist, a sister, into working for them. All you had to do was give her the numbers, man. Give her the numbers, right? So that was another unnecessary scene, bit of conversation that we had between Claudia and the cook, essentially, the chemist, essentially. I didn't get the point of any of that at all. Okay. But still, Claudia's doing the dad burn thing out here. Let's talk about Diamond and Jannard. And then we're going to do Tommy and Liliana last. Okay. Diamond is well loved by the community. Okay. And because he was a fighter. Okay. So what he's well loved for is his time in the ring. And he's in this diner, which is his spot. And the old guys that run the diner are, look up to him. Okay. And we see where Diamond is in the same position as Walter Flynn and Paulie was at the bar that Gloria owns, right? This seat of power, everyone comes in, kind of has to come past them. Everyone has to come past Diamond in this situation. In comes Tommy, and Tommy wants to know off the rip, do we have beef? And Diamond, continues to eat his breakfast, and he's like, I ain't got no problem with you. I ain't got no problem with Walter Flynn. I'm used to that bull junk from him. I used to take it personally, but I don't take it personally no more. I already know what I get when I deal with him, right? All very, very level-headed, all very calm. Okay. But Diamond, to me, doesn't really seem like he has any real pull, even with him being kind of well loved by the community because of being a prize fighter, a boxer. He has no real pull or weight as a drug dealer, in my opinion. Okay, his move with Vic and Tommy, with regards to the Yardies. This is his idea. Tommy's like, I need to move this way, thinking about moving it with the Yardies. Diamond is like, okay, bet I'll make the connection between you and the Yardies because we've dealt with the Yardies before. His move, Vic comes in and Vic apologizes. He's allowed to sit at the table. He's being brought in on the fold. So the three of them are working together and the three of them go down to meet the Yardies, right? We've seen this already. We saw this in episode 1, where Tommy mollywops Vic and commandeers he and Jannard's meeting with the Yardies, right? We saw this already. We've seen this already, except there's no mollywopping going on. They're all willingly going into this thing to meet the Yardies, okay? So it only went slightly better than the Jannard, Vic, Tommy situation in that nobody died. But they don't get to meet with the Yardies because the police are chasing the Yardies through the meat. And which is why Vic went off on Seamus Begin Again. Because you didn't even let me know. Like, someone had to call Diamond and tell Diamond that the police, 5-0's there. The block is hot. You guys get out of there, right? It's a crazy situation. Like, it's completely bananas, right? But here we are revisiting this whole situation. Only slightly better than Jannard's move because nobody died. We see where Jannard is still really all bravado. He is in his feelings. He is talking about how he was supposed to go to school and he gave up everything in 15 years of his life to run this crew. And no one's going to upseat him. His boy is nervous that Diamond's going to roll up on them and see them in the bar. And, we should be moving differently. But Jannard doesn't agree with that. He thinks he's doing things the slick way. We see where D-Mac, who is Tommy's half-brother's son, JP's son, comes in. And he's a typical 16-year-old, right? He is cocksure and he thinks he knows everything, and he doesn't have since God gave a doorknob, you know what I mean? And these are the people that Jannard is rallying as a crew. These aren't the same crew members you're saying half will go with me and half will stay with Diamond. Half of what? Half of what? I've yet to see a crew. The people that Jannard is rallying, like I said, is a bunch of 16-year-olds. And basically, Jannard sends a dummy to find some other smart dummies, right? It's oxymoronic, to be his crew. He sends and D-Mac is like, hey, can you get a group of dummies such as yourself, but smart dummies? I need smart dummies. You bring the bodies and I'll control their mind, right? And D-Mac is like, I could get my boy Fruit Loop. He's pretty good. His mom messes with the Albanians. That's Albino, son. Yeah. I could get my boy Cheerio. I can't get Cheerio because Cheerio, he's got narcolepsy. But I can get my boy Crispy White. I was just like, what are we doing here? What's happening? Is this your crew? This is the group of people that you're going to put in charge of going to war with your brother, Jannard? I don't get it. He's just so emotional. He's so emotional. So in more emotional news, when Tommy realizes that Liliana is in danger, he stashes her at the barbershop. And then he and Diamond go and take a walk to discuss Diamond possibly helping him take on this new foe that's not only after him, but the Coke and Liliana as well. So he stashes Liliana at the barbershop for safekeeping, and we learned several things with this moment. We learned that Jannard toots Coke. He's pulling lines of Coke, several lines of Coke at a time, right? Liliana loves the cocaine as well, but any Coke she don't cut, she don't snort. I was like, well, you got to have some standards, girl. You got to have. That's why girls are better in this game than guys are, in my opinion. We see that he ends up paying Liliana the money that he owes her, right? And we also see where he's fetishizing Liliana's scars. He pays her the money so he can get a chance to touch that scar, baby, and kiss it. I was like, somebody's a freak. Let your freak flag fly. He's fetishizing her scars all the while he's exposing his own scars. He's on this ish. He's insecure. He's low self-esteem. He lacks confidence, right? And he's and he can't control his emotions enough to see the bigger picture, right? Not that his emotions aren't valid. I think that Diamond could take a moment and see things from his brother's perspective, from Jannard's perspective. But at the same time, Jannard needs to edit. He needs to do some major editing. That whole scene between him and Liliana, which a lot of people are just kind of taking kind of taken with this scar on her face. For some reason, it's kind of an aphrodisiac for these men on this show. I don't know. I mean, do any of you guys out there find it sexy? To me, she looks like she smells like hot mayonnaise. Like she's a little too rough around the edges, in my opinion. But after the conversation with Tommy, and Diamond learns just exactly how deep Tommy is in the game, and he learns a little bit more about Tommy's past, Tommy's ex-partner, Ghost, who is now deceased, and he declines to help. He, which I think was wise of him, because, you're sending a bunch of 16-year-olds to fight with an established drug cartel. It's foolish. So he says, I'll pass. I don't have no dog in this fight. I don't want no dog in this fight. I'm not participating. And Tommy seems like he respects that. So that was Jannar and Diamond. Lastly, let's talk about Tommy and Liliana. Tommy rolls out his plan B, right? The yardies, aka the junkies. And Liliana is not on board with that. She feels like they're the low man on the totem pole. He shouldn't get into bed with them. I don't know why it wasn't his idea to go and talk with the Latinos, Spaniards, and Mexicans. I don't know what they are, but they speak Spanish. So forgive me if I'm not calling them, the right ethnic group, but they're of Latin descent, right? He's already met one woman when he was out here with Diamond having to earn this money, right? In episode 2. So I don't know why he doesn't go back to that person and say, hey, I've got more product. Do you want to buy it? Why go straight to the yardies? You've already gotten dope cut with aspirin from the yardies. Everyone's telling you that the yardies are the scum. Most of them are junkies. Like, you don't want to deal with them. But this is your idea. It's fine. Whatever, Tommy. We see where Tommy sends Liliana to spy on Claudia. She does a great job. Later, she gets home, and like I said, she's a little bit of a slob, in my opinion, but the boys all find her fairly attractive for some odd reason. She comes in and she's peeling out of her clothes right there at the door, and snorting. She gets mollywopped not 4 feet into the door, because it's the Serbs. She's taking the money from the Serbs. It's the Serbs, you guys. The Serbs, right? We saw in the Power series, the Serbs were a formidable foe, right? Every time Tommy went to meet with the Serbs, even though Tommy's got nerves of steel, he didn't ever know when it was gonna come with the Serbs. Like, it could go south with the Serbs in a heartbeat. A dude could shoot you right behind the right ear, right behind the left ear. Like, he had zero control. The way he runs everything in Chicago, every meeting, just walking up into places, taking control, never would have happened with the Serbs. Never would have happened with Lobos, right? So we see Tommy moving in a real cocksure way here in Force, but nah. We didn't play them games. You had to come in this joker humbly. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see the Serbs, right? To see what the Serbs are giving. Give us real drug game brutality, I was saying to myself, right? So she gets mollywopped by these 3 guys and lightly tortured by the Serbs. She's a tough piece of leather. They take a cigar and burn it out on her hand, and she's like, what else you got? That's all you got? You know what I'm saying? Make it hotter. Till they go to put it on her eyeball, and she was like, wait. I'll tell you where the drugs are. They give her phone to text Tommy. So she texts Tommy, and it's cold enough where he realizes this is it. The people whose drugs I took, I've come back for the drugs, and beware, right? So they bundle her up and put her in the back of the goddamn SUV. Two in the front driving, one in the back seat with her, and they're just sitting there, just basically sitting there waiting on the guy with the drugs to come and bring the drugs. Where's your connect? Where's your connect with the drugs, right? It's a weird setup. And Juliana's like, he's coming. He's gonna be here. So the dude in the back, his twin brother, the guy behind the driver's seat, sends his twin brother to go and get in the other vehicle and drive on off and tell her that we've got the drugs. We're going to get the drugs and we'll be there shortly. Juliana is taking this all in, right? She's getting all of this together in her own mind. And so next thing we know, the guy behind the driver's seat, head explodes. And then the guy on the passenger seat, head explodes. Tommy is just killing them. Blue, blue, blue. Gets Liliana out. Talks to Liliana about what's going on. There's a her involved, and these are the Serbs. And he's like, I think I know who this is. I'm not sure, but I think I do. Anyway, let's get rid of the body. Pushes the bodies right into the river, right into the Chicago River. I don't know if it's called the Chicago River or not, but right into the river. How convenient. That's when he takes Liliana over and stashes her at the barbershop. Also, when he talks with Diamond about helping out, and Diamond declines. We see where Tommy takes Vic on in as an apprentice, and like I said, as his intern. He's decided also to cut things off with Gloria because of Vic, and he tells Gloria business first. So Gloria doesn't get any more dehydrated D. No more thirsty peeing. The first scene of the show is he and Gloria bumping uglies, and he's parched, he's given all the fluids he can give. He has no more fluids to give. And she gives him a glass of water. It's a slightly cute scene, but again, Gloria, this is business. No more dehydrated D. So Tommy's gathered all the clues about who's running the Serbs, and he decides he needs an army. He can't get it from Diamond. Diamond says no. So Tommy works a plan with Vic, right? And he goes and he meets the woman who is in charge of the Serbs. Now, she's the same woman who was with old boy last season when they were going to kill Tommy. And she spoke up on Tommy's behalf, and they killed another dude, the dude that set Tommy up, and threw him in the grave instead. So Tommy kind of low-key owes her. I can't think of her name. We'll call her Paulina. And so he meets up with her, and she's got two dudes with her, right? And now she's flown in for this meeting. And she's like, you killed 4 of my men now, and you've given the drugs back, which he's given the drugs back better than what he got. They got pure cocaine. It's been cut now, and it's ready for distribution already. So he's giving her the product back, broken down, ready for sale. So gives it to her, throws the bag at her, and she was like, yeah, it's this matter of you having taken out 4 members of my crew. You're going to have to make up for that. He was like, well, you've done some things and I've done some things. Let's call tomato. Let's call the whole thing off. And she is like, I don't know if it's that easy. You're going to have to do some reconciliation. He was like, okay, well, you got your drugs. That's all you're getting. And it's a wash, boo. It's a wash. Vic comes out of nowhere, takes one of her guys out, takes the second guy out. And Paulina is just standing there, and Tommy walks up on her, and she was like, how dare you? I spoke up for you. I was the only one that spoke up for you when he was going to kill you. And this is how you treat me. He was like, you know what? I say, let's make it an even half a dozen. You know what I'm saying? And one more for the count. He takes a blade out and shanks her and slits her throat, leaves her there, drops her dead on the ground. Dead. Ugh. You know, and then we pan out and we see the three bodies dead, dead, dead. Tommy's like, I'm in this game. I'm in this game to win this game, right? Like, you ain't really got no crew per se. Diamond's not on board. He's on board with dealing drugs, but he ain't on board with killing, right? You got Vic, who is a good apprentice, but he still got these weak points, man. You got Liliana, but Liliana is still lying and scheming behind your back. She should have been told you it was the Serbs, right? So I don't know, but this is what Tommy says. Tommy says Ghost is gone, and here's my chance to get my own, to get what belongs to me. You know, and this is how the episode basically ends. For me, the scenes that we absolutely did not need this episode, we didn't need, I'm glad we met the cook, but we didn't need all of that verbiage about the forms, and you signed the form and you dated the forms, and the forms were dated and signed, and we recorded, like, we didn't need all that. It was unnecessary. We didn't need that JP Daddy situation. That's a weak storyline. It yields zero facts. There are no facts that we get from these conversations at all. We still have not learned a lot about Tommy's side of the family, who's taking care of his grandma, how they got that house. Like, we're just not getting anything from this. I just feel like it's this auxiliary storyline that they just have in the wings in case they need it. In which case, we don't need to see it every episode. We don't need to see an appearance by JP every episode. It's unnecessary. I don't understand what the deal is with him and his son. Like, it's so weak. And we don't need all the Tommy Diamond conversation. There's really no real moves that are being made. When there are real moves that are being made, I'm here for the conversation, right? Otherwise, we just get these long diatribes where they're kind of learning about each other, kind of, sort of. These long walks in the park that they're having. We don't really need a lot of that. I would love to see more conversation between Jannard and Diamond, right? Because how that washes out ultimately it is how we're going to learn how it fits into what Tommy has going on, right? As long as there's this descent between the two of them, we don't know how it's going to wash out and how the fit is going to happen. So I would appreciate more in-depth conversation between Diamond and Jannard as opposed to Diamond and Tommy. I do think Diamond and Tommy do need to form a relationship, but we don't need every episode these long walks in the parks, these diatribes about when I was 2 years old, I used to so and so and so and so and blah 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 blah. And there's no real wheeling and dealing. There's no real wheeling and dealing. Period. So you guys tell me what you think of this episode. How did you feel about it? What are some of the unnecessary scenes that you see out there? I'd love for you to put it down below. Listen, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel. Listen, until next time, honeybees. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I holla.